Hello, 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 hello. Tap into this Facebook, into the group, make sure that it's live and to make sure everything is working appropriately. Okay. This info stream is just for the group. If you are not in this group, you will not be able to view this stream. This is done purposely. I am not asking you to share this. This is just for the members of this particular group. I will be doing this each and every Sunday from here on out at the same time. It will be available to the group. So if you miss it, you can tune in. I wouldn't advise you get too far behind. I am not going to drag these out. They may be 30 to 45 minutes, a little longer, depending on how many questions I'm being asked. I will answer all questions within these streams. If you have a question, just text it to me. My phone blowing up as usual, but I am not answering phone calls. Anybody that's in tune will understand that I am doing these lives every week. If not, they will get in tune. So if you can see the screen being shared, it is a full presentation, and I will make sure that it is covered appropriately. If you are tuned in already, let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I will answer all questions. So I'm getting right into it. It's been promoted for a couple of weeks. So if you are not here, then you did not plan on coming. It is no biggie. We will go as planned every single week. I will do a basic introduction, tell you guys what's up, tell you guys a little bit about the things that's coming on, uh, about anything that we working on as far as a company and everything. So full screen this and let's get to it. Real Life Business Solutions is my company, and this is our first info stream. I figured the best way to start this series off would be to cover the entrepreneurial mindset. This is totally different than you starting a business and you wanting to make money, you wanting to quit your day job, you wanting to do something totally new, you having a passion and just getting into something. The entrepreneurial mindset is a totally different mindset. And this is not a full coverage of it. There's many books written on it by way more successful people than myself. This is totally my presentation. This is my presentation. I did not plagiarize any parts of this presentation. Some of the presentations will be made from other people that I just gather the information and present it to you. But this particular one is the first one, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you my understanding of the entrepreneur mindset. So, moving forward, here's a proper introduction. That's me. I could have did it in a business suit. I do not want to come across as a uptight business person. I am attempting to give you the real me. I do not walk around in business suits. I came from a hip hop background. I was born in 1984. I'm from the Crush Groove era. I was born in Detroit. I was raised in Benton Harbor, Michigan. In Benton Harbor, I had a whole different nickname. They called me Little Man. Anybody from Benton Harbor know, or Battle Creek, anywhere over there, they everybody pretty much called me Little Man, or they call me Alvin sometimes, but mostly they call me Little Man. And I've been a rapper all of my life. And at the age of 14, I was a budding superstar in the rap world. I had an independent record deal, and that independent deal left me with no album out, no real music for me to promote or anything like that. No music videos, no anything. And so I left that label after a year, and I decided to start my own thing and do my thing with a group of guys that was called the Pentagon. Rest in peace to one of the founding members, Noriega passed a couple years ago. And in that group, we had a couple mixtapes. It was nothing big or anything, but we did some mixtapes, and I had a decent following around Southwest Detroit. But I ended up catching a prison bid at the age of 18. I did 9 years in the state prison. I learned nothing but how to play better basketball, how to play better spades. I could fight and lift weights, and I came home in better shape than I went in. But that was all physical. Mentally, I was a lot older and I was confused and wanted to get to the money. And so that's what I did. I came home and the money was no longer drugs and robbing people. So I started dealing in oxycodone. Quick, quick story, even quicker. I caught a Fed case in 2015. I fought a RICO case and ended up pleading guilty to a conspiracy case. And I did about 3.5 years in the federal prison system in Milan, in Michigan. And they offered a college course that I took. That college course was a business. What was it? Business. Dang, it's slipping my mind. But anyway, I got a degree. I got a degree in there. It was a business administration. I apologize, y'all. So anyway, I got a business administration degree in 2019 while in federal custody in Milan, Michigan. And in 2020, I received my certificate for paralegal services. I have a paralegal certificate also. So when I came home in 2021, I enrolled back in college, and I realized that my credit score was down to a like 504. So I reached out to a few people about credit, and nobody had the type of attitude that I really wanted. So I researched it myself and I learned credit repair. And in learning credit repair, I ended up with a really great mentor by the name of Azim. And Azim ended up showing me about business credit. And he gave me some game, and more than just game, he gave me a few tools that I could use to educate myself on business credit. So I began doing that. And I took my company and I pivoted a little bit. So I still do credit repair, but I do mostly business consulting and business credit building. So I have a few clients with that, and it's a little easier to deal with business clients than it is with people with bad credit. They don't like paying their bills most of the time. So that is my contact information on there. You can call me any name, just don't call me with excuses and don't call me collect. That's my email address, jackpot at reallifebusinesssolutions.com. That is a real phone number, 313-883-9664. You can contact me by text or you can call me. Now, this is a quick synopsis of what we will cover today. The quote in the corner is never let success get to your head and never let failure get to your heart. It's pretty simple. Do not take anything high too high and don't get too low about the lows. Some of the things we will cover include what is entrepreneurship, measuring success, what it takes to succeed, making it happen, overcoming adversity, staying focused, and handling success, then repeating the process. Here are a few of the major objectives of today's info stream. Today, I will define entrepreneur. What characteristics do these entrepreneurs share, and how are these characteristics developed and nurtured? I will also provide examples of challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs face. I'll discuss how to overcome them. Last but not least, I will discuss how entrepreneurs deal with failure and, more importantly, how they deal with success. So, what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise. An entrepreneur is an agent of change. This is different than a lot of the explanations and different things, the definitions that you run across, because you have to understand that an entrepreneur is pushing something forward. An entrepreneur is not a copycat. An entrepreneur is not someone catching a wave and riding that wave. An entrepreneur does something to set themselves apart from the rest of the trends going on in whatever area that they decide to open these businesses in. Do not think that just opening up a business makes you an entrepreneur. If everybody's doing something and you copying that, that does not make you an entrepreneur. You may even be more successful than the people, but that does not make you an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur takes risks and makes changes. Now, if you take something and you build upon that, then you are an entrepreneur. But just copying does not make you an entrepreneur. Get over it. So, in defining entrepreneur, we need to understand what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is the creation or extraction of economic value. With this definition, entrepreneurship is viewed as change, generally entailing risks beyond what is normally encountered in starting a business, which may include other values than simply economic ones. What this means, it doesn't, money does not make entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship comes from making a change. If you look at the definition of entrepreneur and then the definition of entrepreneurship, you understand how important making a change is. Do not get in a industry and try to copycat everybody else in that industry. Even with minimal success, you will not go too far in whatever industry that is. You have to get into something and know that you could make it better. If you can't make it better, stay away from it, because what you do is you get in, you make a quick buck, and then you're just known as a copycat and people don't want to deal with you. Always have in mind how you can make something better. That's an entrepreneurial mindset. So, here are a couple forms of entrepreneurship. There are a few more. It's a lot of things now. You have internet and different things like that. But the major forms of entrepreneurship are small businesses, large businesses, scalable businesses, and social businesses. Small businesses may be a mom and pop shop. It may be just you doing your thing, printing up t-shirts, or it may be a family business that you're running from outside of your house. That is a small business. A large business may be something like a parking structure, or it may be something like a retail shop. It may be something even bigger, like an office building, or something that's scaled a little bit above being just a small business. You may have 10 employees or 15 or 20 employees. So technically a small business is 100 employees or less, but we're going to, for the sake of entrepreneurship, we're going to look at a large business as something that has 20 or more employees. If you have to pay employee taxes and healthcare and things like that, you are moving into a whole different type of business. So we're going to consider that a large business for the sake of entrepreneurship. Scalable business is a business that you can take from 10 clients to 100 clients, and that's impossible if you are doing all the work. If you are knitting sweaters, it's impossible for you to scale yourself sitting there knitting these personal sweaters. So you have to go from you doing the work to you hiring someone to do the work. And that's a scalable business, something that you can take from A to B, teach somebody to do your part, and you can step out of the business. A social business. A social business is something that helps the community, helps the people around you, or help the world. In these social businesses, it may be something like a foster service, or you may do something to help people that's being reintegrated into society from prison or juvenile or some type of incarceration. You may have a home care service for people that need help getting around or some kind of sicknesses or anything. Or it could be you cleaning up the community or you recycling things. So that's a social business. Success can be measured in many ways. Some of the most common ways of measuring success is the financials. If a business is making money, that is considered a success. If you look at how many businesses are closing every single day, how many businesses open and don't make it beyond a year or two or three, the numbers continue to get higher. So in the first year, you're looking at maybe 35% of businesses closing. In the second year, that number raises to 50%. In the fifth year, that number goes as high as 60%. When you get to 10 years, it's 80, 90% of businesses fail before the year 10. So any type of financial gain from your business, if you are making more money than you are putting out, then you are considered a financial success. If you are helping others, you are a success if that's what you set out to do. So let's say you have one of these social businesses and you may only be breaking even within the business, but you are really helping people. So that could be the way that you measure your success. Autonomy. Autonomy is the you being hands off, the business running itself. You may want autonomy. So you may start a business so you don't have to be there. Once you build the business up to a certain level, you are no longer inside of the business and working for your business. So this is where autonomy comes from. So maybe once you are no longer needed in the day-to-day activities of your business, you consider that a success. Mentorship and giving back. Maybe you feel like being successful means you give back to your community, you do a big brother, little brother program or something like that, or you take on new business owners in the same field or in other fields and you give them some form of mentorship and you help them move forward. And maybe you measure your success in helping those people be great. Whatever you use as a measuring stick for your success, be consistent in that because you may have to lose money to help others. You may have to lose money to be autonomous because you'll have to pay somebody to do the things that need to be done. So, whatever you are measuring your success by, continue to measure your success by that, or you will feel like a failure. What it takes to succeed, a clear vision is needed for you to succeed. If you do not have a clear vision, you are literally waking up every day and throwing anything at the wall and hoping something stick. This is not how you succeed in any form of business. In order to be successful at anything, I don't care if it's basketball, I don't care if you're making movies, you have to have a clear vision. You cannot walk out and freestyle and think that you're going to find real success. Now, you can do that, and some people may if the stars line up, but that's not how you plan on being successful, just throwing anything at the wall and hoping it stick. So, in order to be successful, you need to understand what is needed for you to be successful in the field that you are planning to be successful in. Now, if you are planning to be a model, a certain look is needed. If you are planning to be a musician, some kind of musical skill is needed. If you are planning to be an actor, you may need acting classes, but you need to understand what is needed to be successful in what you're trying to be successful in. And then you need to assess your personal situation and see what is missing. Once you realize what is missing in your personal situation, you will understand how you will close the gaps. Closing the gaps may mean training, it may mean building funds up, it may mean borrowing money from friends and family or a bank or whatever, but it may mean getting some kind of necessary skill. It may also mean learning about the business. So you need to understand where your gaps are and close them. You cannot have gaps and say, well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and hope it works. No, if you have gaps in your learning or gaps in your financing, and you realize that these things are needed to help you be successful, you not closing these gaps means that you will work harder to find that success. So initially, you plan, you make sure that it's clear, you see what you need, you understand what you're missing, and you start to close those gaps. So you make it happen. Making it happen means you set smart goals. You have to make sure that your goals are straightforward, measurable. You got the timing right. You got to make sure that you can gauge it. That is, you actually can. You don't say, "Well, I want to lose weight." That's not a smart goal. For you to lose weight, you have to set the goal to be, I want to lose 10 pounds by December 1st. That's a real goal. If you are not making those type of goals, you are setting yourself up for failure. Now, you have to have a laser like focus. A laser like focus means you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly how to get there, and you are doing everything you know to be productive in you getting there. If you don't have this focus, you are once again throwing spitballs at the wall and hoping that something stick. This is not how you find success. So, you also need the right environment. And what is the right environment? The right environment is a productive environment. You do not want to be an entrepreneur in an environment where you cannot be productive, because your time and your energy is very important as an entrepreneur. There'll be late nights, early mornings, and things like that. So you need to be around an atmosphere that's conducive to that. You need to be able to sleep good, even if it's just 3 hours a night, 4 hours a night. You need to be able to work. I have my thing set up to where I have my space to work. You are going to work. That space could be an office. That space could be a room in a house. That space could be your dining room table after a certain time. But you need your space. You need the right environment, and that environment also includes the people around you. You have to be in a environment of greatness. Like, people have to promote you being great. People have to make you feel great. You do not want to be in an environment where somebody is tearing down your dreams, tearing down your hopes, tearing down your aspirations. Because once negativity is planted in your head, it grows. It's like a tree, and it's the same thing with positivity. So you have to make sure you have the right environment, or you are definitely not going to be as successful as you can be. I do not want to say you will be a failure, because people have made it through all types of circumstances. So I am definitely not going to go there. But if you wanted things to go the right way, you have to have the right environment. You need to be willing to learn and evolve. You have to have that will. And you can't do it in the space of, well, this is coming to me. You have to look for things that you need to learn. You have to seek out education. You have to seek out some type of evolution in what you're doing in your business. I started off learning about credit from CRC. Within the first year of me being in business, I no longer use CRC. I had a whole different software that I was using. I no longer use any of the things that they set in place for my business, except the uh, authorize.net to get my payments. Other than that, it was maybe four or five other things. I got rid of ClickFunnels. I'm using a totally different thing now for my CRM and my funnels. Like, you have to consistently evolve. Now, that doesn't mean you buy a studio and you just keep buying new studio equipment without learning how to use the equipment. But it means that once you realize the equipment that you're using is not the best equipment for you, you are willing to get rid of that equipment and you go get you something that works. Do not get caught up in your system. Your system may be okay, But if you are not successful, then you need to change how you are moving within your system, or you need to change your system as a whole. Always be willing to learn and evolve. We are all faced with some type of adversity, and those adversities could be life. I had an issue a couple weeks ago because I talked about my life and how I grew up, and I ended up ironing it out. But some family members felt like I was giving up too much information or something like that. But whatever it is me. It is my life. If you are not being lied on, there should not be an issue. So my adversity came from being a foster child. My adversity came from being, even before that, being born to a drug addicted father and an alcoholic mom. And then I ended up in a foster home at the age of 10 and 11. I was in juveniles, boys' homes. I've done programs all across the state of Michigan, um, from Boysvilles to Star Commonwealths to Children's Village in Pontiac, different things like that, before eventually going to prison at the age of 18. And I did 9 years in prison. So I'm 9 years behind, no college education. I graduated from high school, um, but I had no college education, no real formal education of anything. And then I ended up right back in the streets and right back selling drugs. And I ended up with a Fed case. And I ended up even worse behind because now I'm 30 something years old going into the feds, and now I have a family, and I have kids that I need to take care of. So that situation was even worse than the first situation because I left nothing in the streets. I was 18. So that type of adversity, it made me realize that I needed to close some gaps. And one of those gaps was my education. So, like I said a little earlier in this presentation, I went back to school. So perseverance, a big part of me overcoming a lot of things that I've been through is perseverance. And I've been commended a lot on my perseverance and the fact that I've furthered my education. I've done more things to better myself. The fact that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be better. I've gained a lot of following because of that. My positivity, even through all of the BS that I've been through, has made a lot of people latch on to me. And that's what people will do. They want to hear your story. You need a progressive mindset. A progressive mindset is what I just spoke about. You do not want to be in business and just be a copycat and looking to everybody else to give you something to copy. You have to be progressive. That is where you succeed at. You have to do something that people are not doing. And then you need some grit and some grind. You cannot expect for everybody to deal with you just because you have a business. You cannot expect for people to support you just because you have a business. You cannot expect for your family and friends to make you successful just because you have a business. You have to get up and work harder than everybody else around you. Everybody with the same business, everybody with intentions of getting a dollar. You have all type of competitors. You may have a app and you think that your shoe app is only competing with other shoe apps, but your shoe app is competing with Foot Locker, Champs, Nike outlets, and different things like that. Anywhere that is a pair of shoes that you are competing with, and you have to outgrind everybody. You being an entrepreneur, you have the opportunity to do something great within your sphere. And you're a small business, so you can do it faster. That is your strength. A bigger business has to make decisions. It may be 40 people at their round table, but it may be you and your two partners, and y'all can pivot this fast. And that is your strength. So you got to grit, grind, and you got to make sure that you keep the end in mind. When you keep the end in mind, everything else in the middle is just in the middle. You understand that this is just a means to an end and you're getting there. You have to make sure you keep your end in mind. Staying focused. The most important part of staying focused is time management. If you are like me and you are in your late 20s, early 30s, early 40s, whatever, and you have a family, you have kids that may be between the ages of 5 and 15 or 20 or whatever. So when you have kids that are still in the home, you have to make sure you manage your time. I have kids they got to get to football practice. I have kids they got to get to cheerleading practice. They got to get to school. And I have a fiance that's great with the kids, and she does a lot of the heavy lifting. But I still have to kick in. I got to make sure that I'm, through with my business, through with my schooling, through with everything that I'm doing when it's time for practice, or I have to go to practice and, I may read some schoolwork at practice and I just try to manage my time. And a lot of people see the different things that I'm doing and they say, man, how do you do so much? A lot of it is me managing my time. Now, I still enjoy my life. I make time for me too. I may sit down and watch me a series over a month, or I may do things that help me wind down. I'm not uptight about everything all the time, but I'm able to do that because I've managed my time outside of that. You also have to manage the people around you. If you have people around you who drain your energy, drain your money, drain your time, every time they call, it's something negative, it's no opportunities. They're gossiping. They got everybody business on their mind. And then you look up and you say, man, we've been on the phone 2 hours and we really have talked about nothing substantial. I know what such and such doing, such and such, such and such, but I'm leaving these conversations with nothing, a laugh here and there sometimes. But you have to get out of that relationship. That person is not the person you need to be around. So you have to manage the people around you. Money management. If you are an entrepreneur, even if you have money from some other business or some job, you are spending money like crazy. You're spending money on marketing materials, you're spending money on branding materials and promotion and materials and different things, especially in the beginning. And if you're spending this money and you're doing this, you have to manage your money. You can't make $10,000 this month and think it's free money because next month could be slow. So you go out and you blow that $10,000 and then you looking at next month where it's $1,500 needed and you partied all last month. And now you got to go sell the $10,000 worth of stuff and you still don't have the $1,500. So you have to manage your money. And then you have to maximize your productivity because even if you have 2 hours to do something, you need to make sure that it's done as fast as possible. And you need to make sure that you are productive at all times of the day. Even in your resting, you need productive resting because if you are not resting productively, you are literally sitting here or sitting there and doing nothing. And you may just be sitting there and not even getting sleep. And now you've done nothing for 2 hours and you still got to get your 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. So you have to maximize productivity if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. So, what happens when everything comes together and you're successful? You have to make good investments. The key to wealth, not riches, the key to wealth is your money making money. These investments can be stocks, bonds, they can be investments in other businesses. Whatever you're doing, you have to invest. You have to invest. Giving back. Anybody that's successful gives back. And when you give back, you create the atmosphere for more success. Never feel like you giving back is you giving people handouts or you uh you know making it to where people beggars. I don't advise that. Do not cater to people with their hand out and they don't want to get up and get something going for themselves. When I say giving back, I mean you help kids out, you give back to the less needy, the less fortunate. You do not have to feel obligated to give people in your family your money that you wake up every day and bust your butt for. That is not the giving back that I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually helping people. Maybe you start a nonprofit and you help people in whatever way you see fit. When you're successful, you have to find motivation because you may have been motivated by helping people, but now you've helped a lot of people. You may have been motivated by making money, but now you've made a lot of money. So you have to hit the reset button and find motivation. If you cannot find this motivation, you will probably drag in your success. Successful people have a harder time managing public relations. Why is this? Because when you are broke and struggling, nobody cares what you're doing. Nobody's trying to sue you. You're broke. Nobody is gossiping about you the way you think they are. So when you reach a certain level of success, you are now a public figure and you have to manage your public relations because it could cost your business very dearly. So you need to make sure that your reputation is as good as possible, especially in your success, because there are people that could be other companies. There could be somebody that just want to sue you to get something that you got. You have to make sure you manage your public relations good. Repeating the process. Repeating the process means you may sell your business. There are people that build businesses up and sell them for a living. You have to understand how much your business is worth. You don't want to overprice your business and nobody buys it, but you don't want to underprice it and sell yourself short. So, in selling your business, you need to hire someone to help you understand what your business is worth. And that is usually done by multiples of fives and tens. And, they look over your financials and they see what your business is making and they can see the growth. Okay, you had a 5% growth last year and this year you had a 20% growth. They can see where your business is heading and they make these projections and they put your business up for sale for you. But you need to see that and see if that's a realistic goal for you. Franchising, you may want to expand your business by franchising. And what franchising is you set a certain system up. Let's say a McDonald's. They have a system for burgers and fries and all these other things that they are selling. You cannot get a franchise from McDonald's and do what you want to do. These franchises may even tell you that you can't have it in a certain area or it have to be facing a certain way and different things like that because they have their system and their system works or they wouldn't be franchising. And they want you to be successful because the way they look at it is if you franchise one and you're successful, you're more likely to franchise a second one. And they don't have to go through all of these franchise trainings that they did with you initially. So they want you to be successful. They have this system and they got everything in place for you to be successful. In your success and you repeating the process, you may have to find a new why. Like I said a few minutes ago, you may be so successful that you may accomplish all your goals, do all the things you set out to do. And now you have to get back into that and find a new why. So, why are you repeating this process? You have to build from your success. Building from your success means you may start a new company, but people know that you were successful in this company. So they are more likely to help you with funding. They are more likely to hear you out. That's what building from your success is. If you found success and you kick your feet up, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Success for me came in the form of the music business, and I took that success and what people took to me for, and I started consulting in the music business. I was asked so many questions about different things that I was doing. So I started consulting. So when I got into business, some of the same people that asked me for those services were the same people that I helped out with credit repair and I'm helping out build businesses and do different things like that. So that's what building from my success was. Building from your success could just as well be maybe you started off uh, just doing artwork and you were a graphic artist and you found success in that. And then you opened up a print shop. And now people are coming to you for your printing because they understood how good you were at being a graphic artist and how good your business was. So that's what building from your success is. Let me get out of here. Let me see if there are any questions. Anybody have any questions? I see I see a couple comments, not really any questions up here. Um if you are in the group, um you have to connect your page to Restream. I'm gonna send a link or something. But failure is definitely the springboard to success. If you take it that way, you have some people that fail and they give up, and that's crazy. You learn so much from failing, man. You learn so much. Like I expressed at the beginning of this info stream, that I had a bad record deal, and it's no hard feelings. I'm cool with the people that own the label, and one of my best friends' father owned the label actually, and it's all good. But I learned a lot from that, and I knew that if I was going to sign, I wanted certain things set in place before I signed any type of paperwork, and that helped me hire an entertainment lawyer. And anything that I do now, I make sure that the paperwork is good. I like I said, I'm a paralegal, so I can actually read a lot of the paperwork. But anything major that's a major commitment, I make sure that I have my lawyer read it. The info being relayed today, I don't see who these users are. I'm gonna need everybody to tap into the Restream app to make sure that I can see who the names are. But the info being relayed today is just about having an entrepreneur mindset and actually getting through the thick and the thin with being an entrepreneur. I think I did a pretty good job with the actual presentation, and I made it make sense. I didn't want to overdo anything and sit here for 2 hours. So if there are no more questions, I am going to leave this live stream and it will be up for my group. You will not be able to share this. I may take pieces of it and make that public through Instagram or something like that. But other than that, we're gonna do this again next week. It doesn't matter if there's one person here or 20 or 30 or 40. I will answer all the questions at the end of the presentation because I am sharing the presentation. I cannot see the questions within the presentation because of the way that I'm sharing it. If you have any questions directly for me, I answer all questions. I am not one of those type of consultants that charge you for every single thing, man. It is not that type of party. So I'm gonna get out of here and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Y'all have a beautiful holiday and enjoy y'all day too. That's real life.